everybody. I would like to title this video, The Security of a Son. Now, I really, really, truly, I really, truly believe that the greatest way that God could ever be glorified is by one person reaching their promise. Now, if we really set it in our hearts to help somebody reach their promised land, first of all, you have to know what that promise is, which takes a certain amount of discernment. But also, you can really be bombarded with a lot of different kinds of doubts. And I'm sure that a lot of people who have sin inside of them, because we all have sin, we all have that dark side, sometimes thoughts can come up in our head and we can really think like, well, that person doesn't really deserve it, or maybe that would be a bad thing, or maybe it's supposed to work out like this or like that. And we really have a labyrinth to walk through, where we really sometimes we have to just walk blindly and with faith, because logic and reason can completely scream against that particular promise being fulfilled. But if we walk straight ahead, knowing that even if it doesn't make any sense, this is what really will glorify God, then we can do what's difficult, even when it's difficult, even when it's hard. I don't believe that any promises given to anybody ever actually fail. I think that they can be inherited to the next generation if somehow we're unable to run as far as we possibly could have. There's lots of different things in regards to that. But I don't actually believe any promise actually really fails. Even if somehow, sometimes they're fulfilled in strange or peculiar ways. So, that being said, well, what about ourselves and our own promises? I know, once again, from even what I said in my last video, that there are lots and lots of people that rather than help us or support us reach our promises because of competition or insecurity or rebellion or whatever else like that, they can literally try to sabotage those particular promises. And you have to really truly understand with all of your heart, mind, and soul that they really actually cannot sabotage those promises. The only thing, of course, that could be a problem is if they give you so much trouble that you give up. And then if you falter and fail and you enter into a kind of spiritual death, and the same way that Bathsheba did, perhaps when she committed adultery with David, but they can't stop the promise. I think somehow something inside of them says like, hey, this would be bad if this happens, and this and this and that and whatever, but they really actually cannot stop the promises of God from coming into your life. The only thing that they are actually doing by trying to sabotage those promises is cashing out their own piece of your inheritance that they could have gained by helping and supporting you. So say you have a promise from God to, I don't know, go to Africa, and the darkness and the people around you try to keep you from going to Africa, which people should be aware of really does happen. Those people, the only thing will end up happening is they will lose out on any kind of reward that they would have gotten from you making it to Africa. So there are all kinds of rewards for support and all kinds of reward for helps that really don't end up with that. So the promises of God will never fail. If you are hooked up with a person and you guys are heading off to the promised land together, say as a spouse, and there's one person who's really driving the show and one person who's dragging the load, and the other spouse will not cooperate, they're kicking and screaming the whole way and they're trying to block you out for whatever reason or whatever, then eventually if that person has patience, that person will be switched out with another, or they'll enter into some kind of spiritual death themselves. Maybe they'll leave the relationship. A lot of people who end up losing their relationship, I really believe that is the reason why, is because that person can't actually handle sonship, and so they lose out on it. So, you know, it's very interesting how all this stuff works together, and it all works out together for good ultimately. But I can definitely feel sorry for those people who have not been prepared in their hearts to receive a son, to help support a son, to recognize who the sons are and how to be a support to them, because that is really the greatest reward. And that's really everything that we're craving and everything we're longing for.